Amanda Waller. Full name Amanda Blake Waller. Occupation leader, Suicide Squad. Known relatives: Joseph Waller, husband, deceased. Joseph Jr., son. Demeter, daughter, deceased. Martin, son. Jesse, son. Coretta, aka Sarita, daughter. Bubba, son-in-law. Mary White, sister. Flo Crawley, cousin, deceased. Group affiliation: Suicide Squad. Base of operations: Mobile. First appearance: Legends #1, November 1986. Height: 5'1", weight 200 pounds. Eyes brown, hair brown. History. Amanda Waller's story is not a happy one, filled with great tensions, sacrifice, betrayal, death, and most recently, renewal. Young Amanda Waller grew up in Cabrini Green, a poor section of Chicago. She managed to avoid the gangs and drugs, and after completing high school at 18, she married her sweetheart, Joseph Waller. Together they formed a poor but happy family and raised their 5 children, despite the growing adverse conditions. Things changed when Joe Jr. was mugged and shot by local street thugs seeking chump change. 6 months later, Demeter was accosted by a drug pusher known as the Candy Man. When she resisted him, he grabbed her, beat her viciously and raped her, leaving her to bleed to death in an alley not far from the Waller apartment. This unhinged Joseph. Taking a pistol, he hunted down and shot the Candy Man, but himself died in a hail of bullets. Amanda buried her husband and decided the time had come to better herself, protect the remaining family and move. She kept after the others to stay in school and returned to college herself, studying psychology and political science. After the last had graduated, she told them they were on their own. Her work was done. Now it was time for Amanda to begin life over. She attached herself to Marvin Collins, a political candidate, and worked with him in his efforts to reach Washington as a congressman. In gratitude, he brought Amanda along. Once in Washington, she researched position papers and drafted legislation, most of which was aimed at improving life in neighbourhoods such as the one she left behind. But she was to have a more direct role in effecting change. One day she uncovered documentation about a long-standing covert action agency called Task Force X. Fascinated, she read about its 2 closed divisions: the Suicide Squad, which had an international orientation, and Argent, which handled domestic situations. Amanda then put together a plan to use the metahuman criminals in ways not previously imagined. She conceived of a rehabilitation process that would allow criminals to undertake dangerous, possibly suicidal missions in exchange for parole and a fresh start. Her thorough research uncovered the unused federal penitentiary Belle Reve deep in Louisiana. Her plan in place, she used her congressional connections to present her case directly to the president. He gave her the go-ahead and funding to resurrect the Suicide Squad, believing that this was one way to either reform or be rid of bothersome metahumans. It also gave him a chance to get the politically annoying Waller out of the way of his right-wing agenda. For a number of years, Waller saw to it that the squad took the dirtiest and nastiest operations of all around the world. Waller managed the group with an iron hand, rarely allowing any questions of her motives or authority. This earned her the nickname The Wall, yet she felt herself losing control and growing soft. Missions began to go wrong, and operatives began to flaunt their freedom and jeopardise the entire squad. Waller's political philosophy soon proved her undoing. Believing no one but herself fully trustworthy, Waller kept important government information to herself. Waller lost absolute control of the Suicide Squad and was forced to report to Sarge Steele, the new Director of Intelligence. Waller turned herself into the authorities and was sentenced like a common felon. For a year, Waller was a prisoner of Belle Reve. When the small southern European country of Latava threatened a tenuous world situation and the US government realised there was a real need once and for all for a Suicide Squad, Sarge Steele asked Waller, still imprisoned, for her terms to reorganise the squad. $1 million a mission, plus expenses. Total autonomy to run the squad as she saw fit, and no governmental interference. Powers and weapons. Amanda Waller has no training in either combat or the use of weapons, but has one thing going for her that makes the Wall a match for all others: a steel will that allows her to see straight through to the heart of a problem.